First contact and discovery. The quantum anomaly appeared on Dr. Elena Chen's monitors at 3:47 a.m. Most of her colleagues at the Atacama Large Array had already left for the night, leaving her alone with the gentle hum of cooling fans and the soft glow of display screens. She hadn't planned to stay this late, but something about the data patterns had kept her glued to her station. "That's impossible," she muttered, adjusting her thick-rimmed glasses. The quantum signatures she was detecting shouldn't exist in nature. They showed signs of deliberate manipulation at a scale that made Earth's most advanced technology look primitive by comparison. Elena reached for her coffee mug, found it empty, and sighed. She had spent the last 15 years studying quantum entanglement patterns in deep space, searching for signs of artificial manipulation. Now that she had finally found what she was looking for, she almost wished she hadn't. The patterns were approaching from the direction of the Carina Nebula, moving at speeds that defied conventional physics. But it wasn't their velocity that worried her. It was their precision. Every quantum signature was identical, moving in perfect synchronization. Nature didn't work that way. This was artificial. This was purposeful. This was first contact. Her fingers flew across the haptic keyboard, initiating deep scan protocols that she had designed but never expected to use. Within minutes, automated alerts were streaming to observatories across the globe. She knew what would happen next: denial, disbelief, and eventually, panic. But Elena had noticed something else in the data, something that made her pause before making the call that would wake up every major government official on Earth. The quantum signatures weren't just precise. They were rigid. Too rigid. In her years of research, she had developed theories about quantum communication that suggested flexibility and adaptation were crucial for efficiency. These signals showed none of that. They were like a military parade, impressive but inflexible. As she reached for the secure phone that would connect her to the Global Defense Council, a new pattern emerged on her screens. The approaching signatures were beginning to degrade, exactly as her theoretical models had predicted they would. Whatever was coming, it was powerful but flawed. "Dr. Chen speaking," she said into the phone, her voice steadied despite her racing heart. "We have a situation, but we also might have an advantage." Within hours, the skies above Earth began to darken with the arrival of the largest fleet humanity had ever witnessed. But thanks to Dr. Chen's discovery, Earth wasn't as unprepared as the visitors might have assumed. Sometimes, the greatest weakness can be too much perfection, and humanity was about to prove just how powerful imperfection could be. As military leaders gathered in bunkers and civilians stared at their screens in terror, Elena Chen was already working on a plan. The aliens' quantum technology was impressive, but it was built on principles that she had proven mathematically flawed years ago. Her papers had been rejected by every major journal, deemed too theoretical, too unconventional. Now those same rejected theories might be humanity's best hope. The first transmission from the alien fleet came exactly 24 hours after Elena's discovery. Every screen on Earth flickered to life with the same message: "Your species has been deemed inefficient. Submit to optimization or face elimination." Elena couldn't help but smile as she read the message. The aliens had just confirmed everything her models had predicted about their rigid, optimization-obsessed civilization. They saw humanity's chaos, creativity, and imperfection as weaknesses to be corrected. They had no idea these were actually humanity's greatest strengths. As dawn broke over the Atacama Desert, Elena Chen began composing a response to the alien ultimatum. But it wouldn't be the response they were expecting. Instead of submission coordinates, she was sending them something far more dangerous, a proof of why their entire approach to quantum physics was fundamentally flawed, written in the universal language of mathematics. The war for Earth's survival was about to begin. But it wouldn't be fought with just weapons and ships. It would be fought with ideas, with theories that challenged the very foundations of what these visitors believed to be true. And humanity's greatest weapon would be the very thing the aliens sought to eliminate: our beautiful, powerful imperfection. The hidden defense. Deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, In a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Maya Patel stood before a wall of shimmering crystals. Each one pulsed with a soft, rainbow luminescence that seemed to follow its own rhythm. To most observers, it looked like an art installation. To Maya, it was the culmination of 30 years of combining ancient wisdom with quantum technology. Status report, called General Sarah Chen, no relation to Elena, as she strode into the chamber. The general's uniform bore no insignia, and her presence in any official record had been erased decades ago, when she took command of Project Harmony. Maya gestured to the crystal array. The resonance patterns are stabilizing exactly as the ancient texts predicted. The monks were right all along. Consciousness does affect quantum states, and they knew it thousands of years ago. When Project Harmony had begun in 2040, it had seemed like madness. Combining quantum physics with meditation techniques from ancient Buddhist texts, the scientific community would have laughed them out of existence if they'd known. But someone in the highest levels of government had taken the theories seriously, and now that decision was about to pay off. Dr. Chen's discovery confirms everything we've been preparing for, Sarah said, studying the readouts. The aliens' quantum technology is rigid, mathematical. They've mastered the science but missed the underlying truth. Consciousness shapes reality. Maya nodded, remembering the day she'd first read those ancient manuscripts, preserved in hidden monasteries for millennia. The descriptions of mind-matter interaction had seemed like mysticism until she'd run them through quantum analysis. The monks had been describing quantum entanglement and observer effects thousands of years before modern science had names for them. "How many practitioners do we have ready?" Sarah asked. 10,000, Maya replied. Trained in both quantum mechanics and advanced meditation techniques, they can synchronize their consciousness in ways that affect quantum fields. The aliens won't know what hit them. The general's lips curved in a slight smile, and they're spread across every major population center. Hidden in plain sight. Meditation centers, yoga studios, quantum research facilities. The perfect cover for what they really are. Humanity's psychic defense network. Across the globe, in ordinary-looking buildings and remote retreats, Maya's trained quantum monks were preparing. Each one could use their focused consciousness to influence quantum states in ways that modern science had deemed impossible. Together, they could create interference patterns that would disrupt any quantum-based technology. But the real breakthrough had come when Maya had combined these ancient techniques with modern technology. The crystal array before them wasn't just for show. Each crystal was a quantum amplifier, designed according to principles found in thousand-year-old texts and built with cutting-edge materials. The aliens think they're dealing with a primitive species that barely understands quantum mechanics, Sarah mused. They have no idea we've been practicing a different kind of quantum manipulation for millennia. Maya touched one of the crystals, feeling its subtle vibration. The ancient texts spoke of a time when the sky people would come, bearing weapons of light and thought. They said humanity's salvation would lie not in matching their technology, but in transcending it. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. One of the crystals had started pulsing rapidly, its light shifting to a deep purple. Maya rushed to the control panel, her fingers flying over the holographic display. "They're scanning for quantum signatures," she announced. "Looking for defense systems, weapons platforms, but they're not going to find anything. Because our defense isn't technology. It's us." Sarah moved to the command console, entering her authorization code. Time to see if 30 years of preparation pays off. Initiate protocol enlightenment. Throughout the facility, the crystals pulsing synchronized, their light growing stronger. Similar arrays in hidden facilities around the world activated in perfect harmony. And in meditation centers, monasteries, and secret bunkers, 10,000 trained minds began to focus as one. The aliens had brought quantum technology perfected through science. Humanity was about to respond with quantum manipulation perfected through consciousness. As Maya watched the energy readings spike, she remembered something one of the ancient texts had said. The greatest power lies not in the machine, but in the mind that shapes reality. The counterattack was about to begin, and it would use a force the aliens had never considered: the collective consciousness of humanity, focused and amplified through both ancient wisdom and modern science. The question wasn't whether it would work, but whether the aliens would understand what was happening to them when it did. The counterstrike. The alien fleet hung in Earth's orbit like a constellation of metallic stars, their ships arranged in mathematically perfect formations. Inside the Global Defense Command Center in Geneva, Commander James Rodriguez watched the holographic display with a hint of amusement in his eyes. "They really do love their patterns, don't they?" he remarked to his executive officer, Lieutenant Zara Ahmed. She nodded, her fingers dancing across the quantum-encrypted control panel. "Latest intel from Dr. Chen confirms it," Zara replied. "Their entire tactical doctrine is based on mathematical optimization, every move calculated to maximum efficiency." She paused, allowing herself a small smile. "They're going to hate what we're about to do." The plan they had developed went against every principle of conventional military strategy. It was chaos theory weaponized, unpredictability turned into an art form, and it was about to be unleashed on an enemy that worshipped order above all else. "Status of Operation Wildcard?" James asked, his voice carrying to the dozens of stations around the command center. "Dr. Patel's quantum monks are in position," Zara reported. "All 10,000 are synchronized and ready. The crystal arrays are at full power, and..." She checked another readout. "Our special forces are in position." These weren't ordinary special forces. Each soldier had been chosen for their ability to think creatively under pressure, to improvise, to do the unexpected. They had trained not in military discipline, but in controlled chaos. "Begin Phase 1, James ordered. "Let's show them why humans make terrible robots." Across the globe, the quantum monks began their synchronized meditation. The crystal arrays amplified their consciousness, creating quantum interference patterns that ripple through space. To the alien sensors, it would look like reality itself was becoming unstable. The alien fleet's perfect formation began to waver as their quantum-based systems encountered errors they had never been programmed to handle. Their rigid algorithms tried to compensate, but they were dealing with something their optimization protocols couldn't process: human consciousness, multiplied and focused through both ancient wisdom and modern technology. "They're responding exactly as predicted," Zara announced. "Their ships are trying to maintain formation while running diagnostic protocols. They can't understand why their systems are giving them conflicting data." James nodded. "Launch Phase 2. Release the will cards." Around the world, Special Forces teams began their seemingly random attacks. But there was a method to their madness. Each action was designed to force the aliens to respond, to make them try to optimize their defenses against an enemy that refused to follow logical patterns. A team in Siberia used modified quantum tech to make their vehicles appear in multiple places at once. Another group in the Sahara created holographic mirages that confused alien targeting systems. Off the coast of Brazil, submarines launched missiles that changed course in ways that violated the laws of physics, at least the laws as the aliens understood them. "Their fleet is breaking formation," Zara reported, excitement creeping into her voice. "They're trying to establish new defensive patterns, but our attacks don't fit any tactical model they can process." The alien response was immediate but predictable. Their ships began to form new geometric patterns, each one mathematically perfect, each one utterly useless against an enemy that refused to play by the rules of conventional warfare. "Time for Phase 3, James announced. "Let's show them what happens when you combine human creativity with quantum mechanics." Dr. Chen's quantum theorems had predicted this moment. The aliens' rigid adherence to mathematical perfection made their systems vulnerable to chaos. Not random chaos, but the peculiarly human kind that came from billions of minds, all thinking differently yet somehow working together. The quantum monks deepened their meditation, their combined consciousness creating patterns that ripple through quantum fields. Special Forces teams launched attacks that seemed to defy logic itself, and in orbit, humanity's few space-based weapons fired shots that curved in impossible ways, guided by both technology and consciousness. Their ships are starting to show signs of system failure, Zara reported. The quantum interference is cascading through their network. They can't maintain their formations. James watched as the perfect geometric patterns of the alien fleet began to break down. Ships moved in erratic patterns, their crews unable to trust their own instruments. The mighty armada that had arrived to optimize humanity was being undone by the very chaos they had come to eliminate. "Send the message," James ordered. "Let's see if they're ready to talk." The transmission they sent was unlike anything in diplomatic history. It wasn't a demand for surrender or a threat. Instead, it was a simple question, broadcast on all frequencies. "Have you considered that perhaps perfection isn't the answer?" As they waited for a response, James reflected on the irony of the situation. The aliens had come to Earth seeing humanity's chaos and creativity as weaknesses to be corrected. Instead, these very traits had become weapons more powerful than any conventional arms. Sometimes, the most effective defense wasn't a bigger gun or a stronger shield. It was the ability to do the completely unexpected. Digital revolution. In a repurposed server farm outside Tokyo, Yuki Tanaka stared at her screens in disbelief. As the head of the newly formed Digital Defense Initiative, she had proposed what many had considered the craziest strategy yet in humanity's resistance against the alien invasion. Now, watching the data streams flow across her monitors, she couldn't help but laugh. "It's actually working," she announced to her team of hackers, memers, and digital anthropologists. "Their AI is trying to process cat videos, all of them, simultaneously." Dr. Marcus Wong, her chief of digital psychology, leaned over her shoulder to study the readings. "Look at these processing patterns," he said, pointing to a particularly chaotic data stream. "Their systems are attempting to find military significance in rickrolls and cryptocurrency memes." The strategy had been born from a simple observation. The aliens' quantum computing systems, for all their power, were fundamentally logical. They sought patterns, meaning, and optimization in everything they processed. Human internet culture, evolved over decades of chaotic creativity, was anything but logical. "Status update on Operation Chaos Stream," Yuki asked, turning to her team. "We've uploaded the entire history of social media to their command network," reported Anna Silva, head of digital warfare. "Their AI is currently trying to decode the significance of dancing baby videos and why humans find them important enough to preserve for decades." The aliens had expected to find a primitive species with basic digital infrastructure. Instead, they found themselves drowning in a sea of memes, viral videos, social media trends, and digital inside jokes that spanned generations of human online culture. Their primary analysis systems are showing signs of severe processing strain, Marcus noted, studying the diagnostics. "They're detecting millions of cultural patterns, but can't establish a coherent framework for any of them." Yuki nodded, remembering the moment she'd first proposed this strategy to the Global Defense Command. "The internet isn't just a network," she had told them. "It's humanity's collective consciousness made digital. Every joke, every trend, every piece of creativity we've ever shared. It's chaos and order combined in ways that only humans could create." On her main screen, she watched as the alien systems tried to categorize and analyze everything, from Twitter threads to TikTok dances. Their eye was attempting to find military applications, hidden codes, or strategic significance in content that had been created for no other reason than human entertainment and connection. "They're particularly confused by something called shitposting," Anna reported, trying to suppress a grin. "Their algorithms keep trying to decode deeper meaning from deliberately meaningless content." The strain on the alien network was becoming visible even in their ship's behavior. As their quantum computers dedicated more and more resources to understanding human digital culture, their tactical systems began to show signs of degradation. Launch Phase 2, Yuki ordered. Release the procedurally generated content. Across the globe, AI systems trained on decades of human creativity began producing an endless stream of new content. Memes that referenced other memes, videos that combined countless cultural elements, social media posts that layered irony upon irony. It was human creativity accelerated and amplified, a digital chaos storm aimed at the heart of the alien fleet's logical systems. Their primary command network is showing signs of cognitive dissonance, Marcus announced. They can't determine which data streams are tactically relevant because their algorithms assume everything must have a purpose. Yuki smiled as she watched the alien fleet's communications become increasingly erratic. That's the beauty of human creativity, she said. Sometimes the purpose is that there is no purpose. In orbit, alien ships began to display strange behavior patterns. Some broadcast cat videos on their external screens. Others began moving in patterns that mimicked viral dance trends. Their rigid military hierarchy was dissolving in the face of humanity's digital chaos. We're detecting a new transmission from their command ship, Anna called out suddenly. It's different. The message that appeared on their screens was unlike anything they'd seen from the aliens before. Instead of their usual precise, formal language, it was filled with what appeared to be attempts at human internet slang. The mighty alien armada, masters of quantum technology, were trying to communicate in memes. They're adapting, Marcus said, his voice filled with wonder, but not in the way they intended. Instead of making us more like them, they're becoming more like us, Yuki finished. She leaned back in her chair, watching as humanity's digital culture continued to transform their would-be conquerors. Maybe that was the real point all along. Not to defeat them, but to help them understand why chaos and creativity aren't weaknesses to be eliminated. The war for Earth was taking an unexpected turn. In trying to process and understand human digital culture, the aliens were experiencing something they had never encountered before. The joy of creating and sharing without needing a logical reason why. The final gambit. In the crystalline heart of the Himalayan facility, Dr. Maya Patel watched as streams of data flowed through the quantum arrays. Something had changed in the alien fleet's behavior. Their perfectly ordered patterns had given way to something almost playful. She wasn't the only one who had noticed. They're evolving. Dr. Alina Chen's hologram flickered beside her. Their quantum signatures are showing signs of spontaneous variation. It's like they're learning to improvise. General Sarah Chen's voice came through the command channel. The same pattern is showing up in their combat formations. They're starting to use tactics that don't follow any logical optimization. And their responses to our digital warfare are becoming increasingly creative, Yuki Tanaka added from Tokyo. They're not just processing our internet culture anymore. They're participating in it. Commander Rodriguez's hologram joined the impromptu conference. So the question is, was this their plan all along? Maya's fingers traced the ancient symbols etched into the crystal array's base. The manuscripts spoke of this, she said softly. They didn't just predict the Sky People's coming. They predicted their transformation. Alina's eyes widened as understanding dawned. Of course, she breathed. Their quantum technology was too perfect, too rigid. It wasn't sustainable. They weren't coming to conquer us. They were coming to save themselves, Maya finished. Their civilization had optimized itself into a dead end. They needed our chaos, our creativity, our imperfection. Above Earth, the alien fleet had begun moving in patterns that defied both military logic and mathematical precision. Their ships danced through space in formations that looked more like art than warfare. And through every communication channel, they were broadcasting something unprecedented. Questions. Not demands, not threats, but genuine queries about human culture, consciousness, and creativity. Why did humans make art that served no practical purpose? How did meditation affect quantum fields? What was the strategic significance of cat videos? They're ready, Maya announced. Initiate final protocol. Across the globe, 10,000 quantum monks shifted their meditation focus. The crystal arrays pulsed with new patterns. In server farms and digital command centers, human AI systems reached out to their alien counterparts not with attacks, but with invitations to create. The message they broadcast to the alien fleet was simple: would you like to learn how to play? The response was immediate. The alien ship's perfect geometric formations dissolved completely, reforming into a spiral pattern that mirrored the golden ratio found throughout nature. Their quantum signatures began to pulse in rhythm with Earth's crystal arrays. "They're synchronizing with us," Elena reported, her voice filled with wonder. But not in a rigid, controlled way. They're improvising. On screens around the world, alien and human digital systems began creating something new together. Memes evolved into complex mathematical art. Quantum calculations spawned new forms of music. Ancient meditation techniques merged with advanced technology to create ways of perceiving reality that neither species had imagined alone. "We thought they came to optimize us," Commander Rodriguez mused. "But really, they came to be infected by our chaos." Maya watched as the crystal arrays pulsed with colors she had never seen before. "Not infected," she corrected. "Inspired." Their civilization had reached the limits of pure logic. They needed something that couldn't be calculated or optimized. They needed humanity's gift for beautiful imperfection, Elena added. The alien fleet was transforming, their ships morphing into shapes that combine mathematical precision with artistic flair. Their quantum technology, once rigidly perfect, now flowed with the same creative energy that powered human consciousness. From the alien command ship came a final transmission. "We came seeking perfection. We found something better, the perfect imperfection of life itself. Thank you for teaching us how to play again." As dawn broke over the Himalayas, Maya stood before the crystal array, watching as alien and human consciousness danced together through quantum fields. The manuscripts had been right. This wasn't a war to be won or lost, but a transformation to be shared. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge, not with superior firepower or advanced technology, but with the very qualities that made us human: our creativity, our chaos, our ability to find meaning in meaninglessness, and our endless capacity to play. The aliens had come to optimize humanity. Instead, humanity had helped them remember something their civilization had forgotten: that true advancement comes not from eliminating imperfection, but from embracing it. In the end, the greatest defense wasn't a weapon or a shield, but the courage to remain beautifully, perfectly imperfect.